So, hello, Esther. A
Thank
very
you.
warm welcome. I'm very delighted to have you here. I want first to introduce myself. I'm Verena Rank. I'm from Germany, and I have read some month ago the book of Esther. We are talking this evening, The Sacred Modeling of the Body. Esther, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi everyone. My name is Esther Van Lis. This is the right pronunciation of the name. Of course, it's my art name, and it's also the name that I'm very known about. And in these last years, I really dived into the possibilities of our body to integrate our consciousness very deeply. And with this exploration, one of the materials that came out was this new book that it will also be available in German, and it is already available in English and in Italian. The first one in Italian and the second one in English. And the sacred modeling of the body is about how to receive the energy in our body correctly, and how to transmit our energy correctly in a way that is not dispersed and is transmitting our constant light. So for me, what I do with my work in general is teaching and helping people to discover their pure awareness, and to let go any sense of guilt, of wrongness, of any trouble in a way, and allow people to dive in their consciousness and discover what this consciousness is about, and what gift one can experience from this direct connection with our consciousness. So in working with people, I see, for example, many people that have a concept of consciousness and an intellectual abstract understanding of consciousness, and maybe they forget about the simpleness, the easiness of consciousness that is permeating everywhere. This is a word that I like a lot, is permeating everything. Thank you for having me.
Thank you to come here. Do you want to explain a bit about the beginning of this journey for you?
My journey I will start with a little bit of awakening. My awakening started when I was studying in the University of Bologna. And from then, for 10 years, I dived in many materials. And for me, it was very clear since the beginning to not lose myself in rigid spiritual teachings, but to allow and to feel what really resonates in me, and to go straight to the source of the materials. So for me, it was kind of a knowing that any spiritual teachings comes from a master, someone that really lived them. And so I wanted to feel from the beginning what these states of consciousness was allowing them to live in this way, and to go beyond what we call the human limitation in 3D. And from this desire, I really started to connect first with my inner master, what I call now my light, simple my light, or my realness, because the two are the same thing in a way. So the desire was always to be true to myself. And I was very stubborn with this, because maybe to be true to myself at the beginning was sacrificing other part of me. But going forward in the journey, I really started to accept any part of me and to integrate also other areas of life that maybe some people not consider spiritual and so on, but everything in life can be lived by our consciousness. So, for example, one of my deep experiences of energies, of movement, of connection with myself, I had it while I was dancing in a disco. In the middle of other people, and I really felt really connected to my body and to my flow of energy, and I felt that it was making me really feeling good, and that I could move my energy in a way that was literally feeling me how to raise the frequency of the body. And from that experience, it was like a recognition, a recollection of something that I was experiencing also in my childhood. And I grew up with a deep contact with nature. And for me, playing with nature was always playing with beauty and energy. And so I was often engaged with nature in an imaginative way, and kind of creating new energies inside the nature. Nature is very, very open for this. It's very receptive. So this is a little bit of background. And in 2015, I decided to leave a job that I was having, and I went in a retirement of 1 year inside of the Alps, really far from cities. And inside this retreat, I loved to really dive in nature even more. And it's something that I want to experience a lot again. It's not enough in a way. It's always, it's always something that I'm looking forward. Because what I discovered along the way is that the two masters is the one that are really embodied in the planet. It's like the opposite of some perspective that is about maybe these ascended masters. But I feel that they are really in deeply connection with the core energies, the crystalline energies of the planet. And so when I discovered this, my desire for nature grew up. And in this retirement, my senses started to expand. And this year, sometimes alone, sometimes with someone else, where I was sharing this passion, was like setting up the background for the work of the next year. Indeed, from 2016, I started to do kind of live workshop and work with groups and people. And now I mainly do it online, also with this pandemic era. And I'm enjoying the unfolding of the thing. Thank you.
In your book, you describe that you're not only you are the author of this book, but you introduce also the Crystalline Council. Could you speak a little bit about the Crystalline Council?
Yeah. The Crystalline Council, for me, as I said in the book, really appeared in a way out of nothing. I remember one moment, and I was driving. I often receive informations and insights while I'm driving. I guess many people can relate to that. Also while I'm in the shower and so on, and or when I'm walking. And I was driving, and suddenly I received this name, Crystalline Council. It was like receiving this name, and with this name there was also kind of a download of energies that I received. And these energies found a kind of a desire on me to collaborate. And I was prepared, because also with my new name, I started to recognize this kind of melodic energies, these energies that are free to move and free to express themselves. And that was a moment of recognition. After then, some months passed, kind of 2 months, and in September of 2017, I was doing a personal encounter with a person, like a treatment, a personal treatment to a person. And I connected. And while I was connecting, I felt also that the Crystalline Council was supporting me in speaking to this person. And it was very natural. And also in the book, I don't call it a channeling, but I specifically call it a collaboration. And it's like, with this collaboration, we are giving light, we are giving life to a new creation that was already available in the what I call the crystalline realms, but now was wanting to come here. And the book is one part of it. So when after that, I started to do personal conversation with people online, like personal chat. And I discovered that while I was talking with people one-on-one, this flow of awareness was coming to me. So I first discovered that the council, the Crystalline Council, is about recognizing that in ourselves there is this constant deliver of transmission of light. So I was feeling myself tuning to kind of this music and going with the flow. And I was not losing my awareness. I was not going in a kind of a state of trance. Actually, I started to call this flow of words the crystalline transmission. And in the book, you can find it also. And what I was experiencing was actually experiencing the energies. So in any crystalline transmission, I actually experience the energies and I put it in a way that for people is simple to experience. And my focus in this work is not telling information to people, but allowing them to experience. And also in kind of in my way, in my character, I really love to deliver kind of distillation phrases that goes straight to the feeling, to the perception. So maybe other people love to enrich this with stories or perspectives or other information. For me was like, okay, I need to get clear about this experience while I am experiencing it. And this has to be clear also for other people, for the readers, or for who is experiencing. And so I go straight to the line, and I love that the crystalline transmission are coming in a way that people are very clear about it, and they are always refreshing themselves.
Yes, I agree. It's really, when you dive into this book, you have used a very expression that I like so much. You have called it living organism, and it's really that you are not only the reader, but you were like attracted inside of these energies, and the energies are not constantly, but they are always changing. So it's always, when I read another chapter or I dive in again into another chapter, then it's like changing again, and a whole new word starts up to show up again. And so this is really fascinating to read your book.
Yeah, and this is also the reason why I usually say to people, this is a book, I want to show it also. So for people know about it. This is the English version, and this one is the Italian version. And I usually say to people, this is a book that is not to give to others. It's like it's yours, because it tunes directly with your body, so it works one-on-one. It's not actually working with kind of group of people in a way. It's a personal experience for everybody. So many people are saying to me that when they open the book, even after they maybe read it one or two times, is always new, because the book is specifically designed to accompany you in a journey, what I call a migration from the old model of the body to a new model of the body. And also this is also related to the title of the book, The Sacred Modeling of the Body.
Okay. And on the cover of the book, you have made this diamond. What does it mean?
Yes.
Exactly. What is the meaning of this diamond inside of the book?
The diamond is the name of the first chapter, but is also representing what the gift of the sacred modeling is about. The sacred modeling allows who reads it, who experiences it, to synchronize with your purity. So the body, especially the body, is not seen anymore like a gray thing, a dirt thing, heavy, dense thing. So in the books, there are many ways what they are called perceptual characteristics. These are ways to connect to your diamond and to embody to your diamond. And your diamond is like either a director of orchestra that allows your energies and also your cells in your body to align with the new resonance of the body. And the other purpose of the diamond, maybe there are a lot, but I want to give you another, is to show you your beauty, to show you that in your body you can experience joy. And this is called the body joy in the book. And another great functionality of the body, of the diamond and of the body, they two merge together at one point, is to allow a reception of energy and a transmission of energy simultaneously. Because one of the things that I discovered is that any imbalances in the body is kind of an imbalance between this reception of energy and transmission of energy. So maybe you are not receiving energy clearly, you are not seeing your energy clearly coming to you in an independent and sovereign way. So maybe you are seeing your energy with the templates and the designs of the old model, where your body maybe is considered something that has to suffer. And on the other part, with the sacred modeling, you can allow your diamond to transmit clearly the energy. And so, when you are transmitting the energy to something, you are seeing also the light in this energy. And this is a clear way of transmitting. So the diamond is something that allows you to go beyond just the awareness of the body and start to feel how the body is connected with other realms and other types of energies. Thank you.
For me, it was quite fascinating to look at the body, like this description that you have given, or this energy that you have described now. Because in other spiritual traditions, normally the body isn't considered so much as this source of joy, and so it's really like a new paradigm. And also you say, okay, in the moment there are a lot of filters, you called it in the book, intermediate substances or intermediations between really these poor light energies and our perception of energy inside of the body. Could you talk a little bit about this?
So the intermediation are something that first doesn't allow you to see the new model of the body. So the intermediation are the restricted ways of the old model. So I talk about it a lot in the last chapter that is called "The Set is Complete." And in the old model, your body lives in a state that is decided by forces that are external to you. So you live your body by your belief, you live your body by religions, myths, by gravity, by time, by designs that are still part of our cultural environment. And this, I call it, this these awareness that are external to us, that are part of the cultural environment, these one are kind of energetic fields that are showing the movement of our energy in a distorted way. So the energy is not clearly transmitted and received in a circular way. So the intermediation is something where the energy is not seen clearly in our sovereignty. And to give you the example, it's like two people are talking together one-on-one, and at one point there is a third person that comes in and interrupt the conversation. And this one comes with the role of intermediation, but is not needed. So in this way, it's a bit disruptive the way the intermediation comes in. And to go a little bit further, the intermediation also are obscuring the source of our energy. So are obscuring the diamond, the light that resides in us. So when one can go and goes beyond the intermediation, that are like what I call layers of hypnosis or layers of perception of our body, you discover an entire new set, new body set, new mindset, new consciousness set. I call it the complete set of our consciousness, where the body is part of this dance, of this new model of the body. Indeed, the new model of the body is not just about the body, and this is something that people can discover while reading it, but it's also about our reality, how to model our reality, our perception of reality, and to model how we acknowledge how we create. Mm-hmm. So it's more than just a body experience. And the body can play an important role in this. Maybe in other spiritual teachings it was not contemplated. Because with this you can actually start to integrate, for example, your physical energies that are making your body with other type of energies, like the crystalline energies, or what I call the transversal energies, that are energies that can migrate between one realm and another. Mm-hmm. And so with all of these energies coming together, you are starting to feel, for example, what I call new sounds in your body, or new colors in your body. And with these sensorial perceptions and characteristics, you can discover what I call your crystalline connection, where you literally bypass the intermediation and you go directly to your source, in both ways, in a way. Also, your source can come to you, and you discover that your body and your source, in a way, are both kind of facets of the same diamond. So, for example, when people talk about other realms that maybe are beyond the physicality, I love to say that they are not beyond in a sense of, in a special sense, but they are simply another facet of the same diamond. So one of the core function of the crystalline council, for example, is to discover the unification, the divine unification that we have in our diamond. And this unification is not something that is static, is always modeling itself. So one of the great functionality of the book is to describe how the modeling, how the unification of the diamond is acting, literally acting. So it's like you change your point of view and you migrate from the old model to the new model, and you start to see all of these elements dancing together.
Yeah, this was for me also fascinating. It's not really that you have to work on it, but the new model is working for you. So it means you have to be only aware of this in this sense.
Yes. And one can experience their sacred modeling in many ways. So, for example, I talk about the diamond, I talk about new colors, I talk about new sounds, but I also talk about one other thing, that is the rhombus of presence. It's like perceiving yourself inside a kind of a rhombus, where in the angles of the rhombus there are four ascended masters, and you can feel in this space how clear you are about the energies. And with this, you start to see and to release what is not really representing yourself. So with compassion, you change also the physical energies. In one part of the book, I talk about the fact that the physical energies starts to become the energies of acceptance. So it literally changing the feeling in your skin, because first you accept the energies that are creating your cells, for example, or your organs, and with this you start to know and feel and see that your body is constantly remanifesting itself. And maybe this is something that is not so much talked about. And one of the principles that I shared about this is that one person that wants to be the master of his body has to learn how to be receptive kind of to the unity of our diamond, or to the frequency, the resonance of our diamond. So while you are reading the book, you are also in a way warming up the body to constantly resync and to feel how the body comes into manifestation. And this is a very important part of the modeling because it starts there, and the intermediation, where this kind of energetic fields that was kind of repeating the remanifestation of the body always in the same old way. So it was repetitive, and it was also kind of decreasing the efficiency in time.
Mm-hmm.
This is very important.
What do you perceive this perception and this new model of this new model of the body, is this important for the changes that's going on Earth in this moment?
Yes, because first of all, is changing how the awareness of the book is changing how the energies is distributed in the planet in itself. So if, for example, before the energies were distributed to the planet, delivered to the planet by the channels of the old model, it was not efficient because it was taking time, it was taking effort, and was not resolving in a way all of the problems. With the diamond, in a way, representative of also the delivery of your energies that starts to come in, we also with the book, we are helping the people and the planet itself to let the crystalline seed, the Christ seed, to blossom. So it's not just tuning in our diamond or in our crystalline image, but it's also now the time with this knowledge to let this radiate and blossom in all of the energies that are inside the planet. And this will, of course, expanding all of the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is changing the designs of experience in a way.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the broader
Mm-hmm.
things that the book is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's not the only thing that is doing it, but it's part of it.
Mm-hmm. So, can you often, or not often, but sometimes you use this word body joy. What exactly means to you?
This one is a fun one. And I introduced it in a chapter that is called The Starting Point. And maybe I can also read something about it. And in this chapter, I talked about the Grail. I don't know, in English it's called like this, Grail.
I think so, yes.
And many people related the Grail to a religious thing or to a chalice, right? And for me, when I was receiving it and experiencing it, I felt that the Grail, also in the expression that Yeshua had about it, is like connecting and expressing the joy of being in a body. So the chalice is representing the coming in, the embodiment of you. And when you are experiencing it, you are feeling that your body wants to smile, and it has a kind of inner knowingness, an intuition, an intelligence, and the body is designed to bring joy. It's designed to savor the energy, the fragrance of any energies. And I mean, the joy is the natural expression of embodiment. And the book itself, the Sacred Modeling, wants to make this clear that the embodiment itself, the awareness also, the embodiment of the embodiment itself, the energies that are part of the process of embodiment are all about joy. So you are embodying your joy.
For me, it was so interesting that sometimes you feel like a child when you read this. And so before you have talked about this simplicity that you love so much, and it's really to go back to this simplicity also with your body and things that before I have never recognized that it's so much fun and it's really a joy suddenly popped up, and you're only in this fascinating, oh wow, this is so much joy also to walk or to see something, little stupid things, but it's really starts to explore the levels of joy inside of themselves.
In the book I didn't talk about, for example, the chakras or other type of energy systems, because they are explained in a mental way. There is no joy or imagination in it. They are repeated in the same way since centuries. And for me, with also any chapter of the book is like an imaginative experience. So the diamond itself is also an imagination that you have. So it's like with the body, you are tuning in with this image, with this idea, and the body is designed to represent this idea. And so I encourage a lot of people while reading it to be creative with their body. So also with the new color of, for example, that is the second chapter, or the sonorous unity that is another chapter. I give to people the elements to really start to play again with the body, and have also kind of the Lego to play with the energies of the body, and how you can remanifest and shift your body continually to best represent the consciousness and the awareness and the expression that you want to have in the moment. So it becomes very an experience, and the books allows you to go beyond the mental perspectives. So you don't have anymore the psychosomatic experiences of the body where you are trying to intellectually understand what is happening, but you get creative about it, and you shine it in a new light and in a new kind of landscape that is the modeling itself. So any problem, any psychosomatic problem, it starts to be kind of involved in your dance, because with this everything starts to flow again, and you don't separate it anymore mentally, like this is a problem and is there to stay. No, it's not working in this way. So the books also give people the right to be creative with their body. And I love this about the book.
Till today, how has it developed since you have written this book? I think, of course, you have just explored it.
For me personally, is in these days, in these months, is about discovering how the diamond evolves. Because the diamond is like a first representation of a new image, of a new design of the body. But the diamond itself is evolving, and it becomes what I kind of just described one time in the book. It becomes what I call the focal sun. The diamond itself starts to become illuminated, and through this sun, through this focal sun, you are illuminating your physical senses. So while you are experiencing, for example, touch or smell, you start to become aware of who is perceiving it. So it's not just the body that is perceiving it, but is going kind of in inversion. Is our consciousness, our light that is illuminating it. So the physical senses are a description only of the last part of the entire perception that happens, that I call the entire illumination, or the entire ray of light that allows you to dive in this. So this is one of the things that I'm exploring and I'm experiencing now. And the other things that became very clear about the book is that the sacred modeling and the diamond and the many elements that are in it, as I already said, they are the new image of the body, the new imagination of the body. And when you are experiencing these rays of light that comes in, the way you experience your body is determined by the image, the imagination, the template that you have of your body. So the rays are illuminating what you are presenting there. And if you present there, for example, the elements, the whole set of the new model of the body, it becomes very easy and very simple to embody also your light and to stay really clear about, in a way, your purpose of being on Earth and of living your life in any way. These are the two main things that are, for me, important right now.
When you use the word imagination or image of the body, now you have said the blueprint. Is it more, because for me, imagination, it's like a little bit a mental thing, but you mean this blueprint, is this right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we can call it also a blueprint. And this new imagination is representative of your kind of your Christ, of your soul, is the image of the soul. Mm-hmm. So image is a way of describing it, is the presence of the soul, mm-hmm. of the dream of the soul. And these dreams, it starts to be illuminated. So it's more a process of light. And the difference is that the image can be mental, mm-hmm. when it's just focused to the human circumstances, mm-hmm. and is representing yourself only as a human in a way. Mm-hmm. And we have absolutely the tendency to develop it, and you can call it also your identity. Mm-hmm. And what I discovered that is there is no difference energetically speaking between the identity of you, the human identity of you, and the image that you have of yourself as a human. They are two ways of describing it.
Can you can you explain it again?
Yes. In the process of receiving your light, if you have an intermediation, an idea about yourself, like you don't deserve this light, this is the image where your light is projected. And this will determine how you feel your body. So without these intermediations, you start to discover what is your real kind of image, or your real, what I call the substrata of reality. So your reality is always created, and I better say is always illuminated by you. So every time you do something, also when you think something, inside this thought there is an image that is accompanying this thought, or inside an emotion there is an image of yourself living this emotion. So when you become more self-conscious, self-aware of yourself, you start to remodel the image that you have, the identity that you have of yourself. And you start to discover that you are not just a human of the planet living many incarnations, but you are literally many things, and you are first delivering your light, or being your diamond in an open way. More clear now?
Yes. I have an image in the moment in my mind. It's like you stay in a room full of mirrors, and normally you reflect only into these mirrors, like some identification you have, but you see these, it's all identification. In the moment when the mirrors disappear, the real image of your soul, of your diamond can appears inside of you. And this you mean by the real image or imagination of the soul that then can start to recreate your life, your body, your whole beingness, something like this.
And you discover that it's always been there. It was only the games of screens and projections that was not allowing you to see it.
Yes. But also these projections give us a lot of experience, or not?
Absolutely. And one other of the functionality of the diamond is to give you the clarity. So the diamond comes in, and you can experience it in your body. Actually, you can experience in your body, in every part of your body. It's not just present in one part. And you start to apply the diamond. And the diamond, what he is doing, she, is literally clearing, bringing clarity and clearing these screens. These mirrors are like the screens where you project images of yourself, or images that you have about other people. So you go beyond literally duality. Duality is a mirror game.
Wow, thank you so much.
Wow. I want to read one part of the book.
Absolutely.
So I will open the book in a random page. Okay. The beauty you experience in the sonorous unity frees you from all distorted sounds without exception. Suddenly, you will have the desire to put a new order in your life in relation to the context and people you frequent. The distorted sound, on the contrary, bring you energetically to external spaces where you use it to be subjected to the control of linearity and gravity. Paradoxically, you have accepted to host these external spaces or screens or mirrors composed of images lacking recognition. These are the spaces that do not resonate with your sonorous unity or the resonance of the diamond. You have accepted to load yourself with dynamics that are not yours, to chase someone without having real involvement from this other person, and to be defined by the complaints of others. This was your act out of your sacred space. There is, for example, the space of anxiety, the space of feeling inferior, dependent, and aced. These are all external and unclear spaces. Your new space is represented by the rhombus of presence. You will realize that the essences that are at the vertices of the rhombus are a design of your own multiple mastery. The geometric sound coordinated by the diamond is emanated from every atom and brings the space of joy and purity. The body receives spatiality and waves of sacredness. The body responds with honor and with its intuitive intelligence to the knowingness of the diamond. It does not get stimulated by the emotions and beliefs of the external spaces that, with their limited consciousness, use it to deviate you from pure feeling. In the collaboration of the new model, geometric sounds and new colors expand each other. Their synergy communicates feelings of fullness, receptive states, and multidimensional scenarios from which you can draw and ride new expressive waves. And this was the end of the chapter number 6, the sonorous unity, page 69.
Thank you.
Was really related. So we want to close with a breathing. Every one of you that is watched and stay with us in this beautiful conversation between me and Verena can now honor their body for listening to this, honor their body for the life, for the grace, for the easiness that the body desire and wants and can live. Breathe yourself. Breathe yourself. Stay connected to yourself beyond these screens, mirrors, and intermediation. Discovering that in you there is such an expression, such a creativity and movement of many elements that are here to be illuminated by you. Thank you. If you want to say a few words for me, I'm done. I thank you all and thank you for the opportunity and for your beautiful experience that you're having with the book. I know it's deep.
Yeah, thank you so much for leading us into the experiences of the energies of this book and open this space to have us, our real light with us. Yes, in this sense, thank you so much. You want to say something about the book where you can...
Yes, the book, both the Italian version and the English version and soon the German version are available on Amazon. Maybe we will put the link in the description of the video, and you can give to yourself with they are both available, ebook or the paper book.
Okay,
thank you.
And you put also something where people like a homepage or a web page from you where people can reach you if they are interested.
Yeah, I will put also my new website that is called Real Pioneering, where I'm sharing the new experiences and the new exploration of now. And since the next year, 2022, it will be wider available, but already now is open. There are stuff in it. And this project of Real Pioneering is kind of, I call it the fruit of these 10 years of experiences. And it gathered together all I'm passionate about, these new adventures and these materials, this awareness.
Okay.
And is a place for other pioneers of consciousness to come and really honor their way of exploration, experience, and how they model their energy and their light. Thank you.
Thank you so much.